Viewer discretion is advised.
Come on, honey. Body camera footage. February 16th, 2026, 2:30 in the morning. A man is sobbing in the front yard, vomiting, struggling to breathe. He's on the phone with his mother saying, "Mommy, she's gone. I don't know what to do." He turns to the officers. "Is she gone? What do I do with my daughters?" On camera, it looks real. The grief, the panic, the confusion. He keeps repeating the same story. Someone broke into his home, through the garage, shot his wife. He found her in the bedroom, and for anyone watching that footage, it would be convincing. But while he's performing this breakdown in the front yard, investigators are already inside the house, and what they're seeing doesn't match what he's saying at all, because the scene inside tells a completely different story. And if you think you know where this is going, I'd just hit the like button now, because what happens next is not what you'd expect. Ashley Flynn is shot twice in the head while lying in her bed, 2 gunshots, inside a house, in the middle of the night. And yet, the 2 children in the home never wake up. They're still in their bedrooms, still asleep. Now think about that for a second. Gunfire loud enough to kill someone, in a quiet residential home, at 2:30 in the morning, and 2 children sleep through the entire thing, not just the shots, the aftermath too, the 911 call, the sirens, police arriving, emergency lights flooding the house. None of it wakes them. That level of silence, that level of control, isn't accidental. It's calculated. And here's what makes it even stranger.
Where are you guys at in the house?
I'm in the bedroom with her right now.
Okay.
My daughters are in their room.
So you are not with the children?
I was with the children when it happened.
Okay, but you're not with them now?
No, they're in their room. They're not even awake. Oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
On the 911 call, Caleb tells the dispatcher he was with the children when it happened. He says they're in their room and not even awake, so he's not in the master bedroom when his wife is shot. He's with the kids, and somehow he doesn't hear anything either. He says he had a cough and wasn't sleeping in the master bedroom that night. But investigators aren't focused on what he says he heard. They're focused on what he says he saw. Because the scene inside that house tells a completely different story. And this is where things get really strange. If this is the kind of case that makes you rethink everything, you'll want to subscribe. We break down cases like this every week, and you won't want to miss what's coming. Caleb Flynn tells police it was a break-in. He says the door to the garage was wide open. Someone came in, shot his wife. Disappeared. But when officers actually examine that door, they find something that stops them cold. A large refrigerator is positioned in front of the door that would have had to be pushed to open it. Not knocked over, not shoved aside, just there. Which raises a question investigators can't ignore. If someone forced their way in through that door, how did the refrigerator end up back in place? And that's not the only problem. Inside the garage, the center console of the truck is open. Caleb tells officers that's where he kept his handgun. The gun isn't there anymore, but the way the scene is arranged, it doesn't look chaotic. It doesn't look forced. Officers later note in the criminal complaint that they were led astray by the staging of the crime scene, which means they're not just investigating a break-in anymore. They're investigating the person who called it in. There's no sign of forced entry anywhere else in the house. Nothing stolen, nothing ransacked, no neighbors report hearing anything. No security footage captures movement. And that refrigerator blocking the garage door? Still unexplained. So investigators start looking deeper. And what they find changes everything. Because just 82 hours after Ashley Flynn is found dead, Caleb Flynn is arrested and charged with murder. The charges include murder, 2 counts of felonious assault, and 2 counts of tampering with evidence. He's later indicted by a grand jury on 11 counts, including aggravated murder. And when he's arraigned, he tells the judge,
"I just want to take care of my daughters. I'm not at risk. I understand. Okay. Yes, sir.
His bond is raised to $3.5 million. Oh, which means investigators found something. Something that wasn't on the body camera footage. Something that wasn't at the scene. Something on his phone. At 12:42 a.m., less than 2 hours before the fatal shooting, Caleb allegedly texted someone, "It's almost done." 12:42 in the morning. It's almost done. Ashley would be dead by 2:30. Now let that sink in for a second. While his wife is asleep in the master bedroom, while his 2 daughters are asleep down the hall, he's texting someone. Not just anyone. Someone he's been communicating with heavily for months. And the message isn't, "I can't sleep," or "thinking about you." It's almost done. That's not the language of an affair. That's the language of a plan. What do you think those words mean in this context? Let me know in the comments. Caleb Flynn and Ashley Flynn were longtime members of Christian Life Center in Dayton, Ohio. Caleb served as a music pastor and worship leader. In a 2013 American Idol interview, he said, "I absolutely love the Lord, and I love my wife more than anything. She is very, very pretty. I love her." That was 13 years ago, but by February 2026, something had changed. Social media groups began identifying a 23-year-old woman named Aaliyah Botner as someone Caleb allegedly met at the church. Like Caleb, she was a worship leader. They would sing and lead worship on stage together every Sunday in front of the congregation. And according to alleged leaked court documents, investigators recovered deleted messages allegedly confirming a months-long extramarital relationship. And investigators noted heavy communication between Caleb and the other woman that intensified right before the crime. Which brings us back to that text message. It's almost done. Less than 2 hours before Ashley is killed. Now, these are alleged leaked court documents. They haven't been officially confirmed by authorities. But days after Caleb's arrest, Aaliyah Botner submitted her resignation from the church without explanation. The church pastor addressed the congregation during a Saturday evening service, speaking of recent challenges and emotionally challenging days. He didn't mention Caleb or Aaliyah by name, but the timing speaks for itself. And then there's one more piece that connects all of this. February 2026, just weeks after Caleb Flynn is arrested. Ashley Flynn's family files court documents requesting financial records, including details about a life insurance policy listing Caleb as the primary beneficiary. The court filing states that Caleb Flynn has the motive, opportunity, and means to dissipate assets or transfer them beyond the reach of the children and the estate, and under Ohio law, the Slayer statute would prevent him from receiving any proceeds from life insurance policies where he's listed as beneficiary if convicted. The money would go to the children instead. So if this was about starting a new life, if this was about getting out from under a marriage, if this was about money, the plan only works if he's never caught. And that brings us back to the scene. The refrigerator, the open console, the stage door. If investigators are right, this wasn't a crime of passion. It wasn't spontaneous. It was planned, calculated, controlled, right down to the 911 call. And that text message at 12:42 a.m., that wasn't about an affair. That was a countdown. If this case made you rethink how investigators piece together evidence, share this video with someone who'd find it just as compelling. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. It helps more than you know. So let's walk back through this. Body camera footage from February 16th, 2026. A man sobbing in the front yard, vomiting, asking what to do with his daughters. Inside, his wife shot twice in the head. 2 children who never wake up. A scene staged to look like a break-in. But underneath all of that, a months-long affair with a fellow worship leader. A text message sent less than 2 hours before the shooting. It's almost done. A life insurance policy, and a man who once told America he loved his wife more than anything. Within 3 days, Caleb Flynn is in custody.
Flynn appeared before a judge in that courtroom filled with family members of Ashley. We were asked not to film them. Flynn was told of the 11 counts he could be facing. If convicted, he could face life imprisonment without parole.
A grand jury indicts him on 11 counts. Ashley's family is fighting to protect the children's financial future. The trial hasn't happened yet. Caleb Flynn has pleaded not guilty. But if prosecutors are right, this wasn't a random act of violence. It was something much colder. A man standing on stage every Sunday, leading worship, singing about faith, while allegedly planning the murder of his wife. And the most disturbing part?
Come on, honey.
If investigators hadn't caught those inconsistencies in the scene, if they hadn't found that text message, if they hadn't questioned the story fast enough, the person responsible might have walked free, because the danger was never outside that house. It was already inside, standing on stage, singing, smiling, sending a text at 12:42 in the morning. It's almost done.